So, liebe Leute, da sind wir auch mal wieder bei einer neuen Runde. Jawohl, Stanley Parable mit mir, Lunetschki. Möchte mich vorher auf jeden Fall erstmal über meinen lieben Freund bedanken. Johnny John, der mir das Spiel zur Verfügung gestellt hat. Und ich habe auch gemerkt, dass aus der Community, also von euch, sehr viele Wünsche zu dem Spiel kamen. Und da habe ich mir gedacht, na klar, warum denn nicht? Ne? Guck mal, man sieht hier sogar den Bildschirm. Hui, Stanleyception. Okay, wir springen ins Spiel direkt. Und ich bin gespannt, was mich hier erwartet. Ich habe die Untertitel diesmal aktiviert, aber nur Untertitel, das heißt nicht Full Captioned, sondern Subtitles only, auf Deutsch sogar. Mal gucken, wie es ist. Wenn da irgendwas fehlt, dann stelle ich das nochmal um. Das werden wir ja dann sehen an der Stelle. Aber jetzt auf jeden Fall 1. Mai. Das Spiel starten. Es lädt ziemlich lang, ist mir aufgefallen. Muss ich irgendwas drücken? Bei dem Spiel weiß man ja nie, das ist ja teilweise schon ziemlich abgefahren. Aber ich denke mal, ich muss einfach nur warten. Gott, wie lange ich warten muss. Kann ich mir echt gleich noch was zu trinken holen, glaube ich. Naja, ich trinke erstmal noch einen Schluck Wasser. Bei dem Wetter ja am besten. Ich habe mich in letzter Zeit an Dings übertrunken. An Krümeltee. Langsam hängt mir das echt zum Hals raus. Brauchen wir was Neues, was Abwechslungsreicheres. Bei dem Wetter ist auch irgendwie, ich weiß nicht, es ist momentan auch wieder ganz angenehm eigentlich. Es lädt, es kommt vorwärts. Aber an und für sich, es könnte auch schöner sein, muss ich gestehen. Ein bisschen besser könnte es sein. Ist mir momentan wieder zu kalt geworden eigentlich. Also nicht kalt, aber naja, nicht sommerlich genug, wie es eigentlich hätte sein sollen, wie vor jetzt 1-2 Wochen noch.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Ich hab's eigentlich auf Deutsch gestellt.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly this job. And Stanley was happy.
Ui, ein spannender Job.
And then one day something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Das ist jetzt natürlich... Der Erzähler sagt uns, was wir tun sollen. Im Endeffekt ist er dann auch wieder der Anweiser und sagt uns, was wir machen. Kann ich auch was machen? Kann mit E irgendwas... Ja.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
100%ig will uns das Spiel einfach nur... Genau, ne? Anweisungen und so, wir machen das, was uns gesagt wird. Ja, wir sind Marionetten. Fällt mir jetzt zumindest schon mal dazu ein, weil es ja gerade eben schon damit anfing. Wo ist denn das Meeting Room?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nein, mache ich nicht. Ich mache Door auf der right
This was
Seite.
not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all. Just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Ist schon nicht hübsch, nicht schlecht, ist schon ganz hübsch hier gemacht eigentlich. Problem ist bloß ein bisschen leer irgendwie. Hier könnte noch was hin, so in der Mitte zum Beispiel. Ist da irgendwas zum...
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Der Erzähler ist echt cool. Egal.
Eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left
Nein, nein, ich mach das nicht. Nein, ich gehe geradeaus weiter.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Sehr schön. Auf jeden Fall. Jawohl. Ich halte mich mal ein bisschen weniger an die Anweisungen. Oh, was ist das hier? Do not jump from the cargo. Ich mach's trotzdem. Whee!
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Ach, sehr cool. Jawohl. Okay, nochmal von vorne, jawohl. Ja, wir machen einfach mal jetzt hier den... Ja, wahrscheinlich, keine Ahnung. Ich gehe einfach mal geradeaus weiter und mach mal wieder meinen normalen Weg. Ich gehe wieder rechts lang. Ja. Ich renne jetzt einfach mal schnell durch, damit wir dann schnell wieder an der Stelle sind, wo wir eben waren. Um dann, den Weg nochmal zu finden, wo wir eigentlich hätten lang gehen müssen. Zack, die Wupp. Naja. Nein. Ich gehe geradeaus weiter, wie eben schon. So. Dann gehen wir mal hier über diese Plattform. Gucken, was wir hier machen können. Nein.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Oh, eine Sie.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Okay, ja, ich gehe trotzdem geradeaus weiter. Hier bleibt ja nichts anderes übrig. Ist ja nur eine Tür gerade da. Hui! Dunkelheit. Oh, ein Telefon.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone. As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone?
Yes, it
wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice. It's the best part of being a
Wie geil ist das denn, ey?
But if used incorrectly, can also
Das
be
ist
the
echt
most
cool.
dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack and crack."
Was zur Hölle, ey? Das ist ja so abgefahren. Oh, schön. Mir gefällt das Spiel jetzt schon. Warum habe ich es nicht früher gespielt?
Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Ah, welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Gibt's keinen anderen Ausweg? Ah, sieht nicht danach aus, okay. Sau gut, ey, sau gut. Gehen wir jetzt also wieder zurück, ja? Ach, na schau mal, Kiek. Hat sich ja einiges verändert hier.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Was ich mich jetzt frage ist, was wäre passiert, wenn ich von Anfang an den richtigen Weg gegangen wäre? Was hätte sich dann verändert? Das ist jetzt mal so eine Frage, die ich mir stelle, wo ich mir denke, das Spiel hat auf jeden Fall die Möglichkeit, mehrere Entscheidungen zu bieten. Das will ich dann auch später nochmal ausprobieren, vielleicht in einem extra, wenn ich das dann durchgespielt habe, mehr oder weniger, falls man es durchspielen kann, keine Ahnung. Will ich das auf jeden Fall ausprobieren. Das muss...
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Na, mal schauen.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ich mach trotzdem noch mal rechts. Mal gucken, mal gucken.
No! Why did you do that?
Was ist denn hier los?
Hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
WTF. WTF. Voll abgefahren. Na, okay. Und jetzt? Ich würde gerne noch mal... Was ist, wenn ich noch mal reingehe? Nee, okay. Da passiert gar nichts. Na gut, dann muss ich halt. Na, schade. Aber ich find's echt cool. Das ist echt lustig. Sehr schön gemacht. Wie gesagt, mal gucken, was passiert wäre. Mal gucke ich mir das nochmal an.
It's ruined. I can't believe after everything we talked about that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it?
Der Sprecher ist so cool.
Is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever. Reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to.
Nein!
I have to.
What the fuck? Hui! Schnell raus hier! Klingt unschön. Hallo? What the fuck? Alter Schwede, voll abgespaced. Jetzt wird daraus ein Horror-Game oder was?
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story.
Oh, Mann.
If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard.
Was ist denn jetzt los?
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That
Was?
means choosing responsibly and always putting the story
Ist das normal?
first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
Hab ich irgendwas
the
geladen?
door on his left.
Die QWE 123? Nee.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
Was ist denn? Hä?
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to
Was?
the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right.
Das ist irgendwie, verwirrt mich jetzt gerade.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
Ich will nochmal rechts. Mach das jetzt so lang.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That
Warum?
means choosing responsibly
Warum
and
lädt es immer
always
wieder neu?
putting the story first. I'm
Ich
quite
will das
sure you'll
nicht.
be
Ich
up to the
will.
task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
Ist das normal?
entered the door on his left.
Soll das so sein? Dass das irgendwie immer wieder neu lädt?
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
Es ist.
Behave exactly as Stanley.
Es steht von alleine mal wieder an der Stelle. Ich kann es mir nicht aussuchen. Ich glaube, das Spiel verarscht mich gerade. Das Spiel will mich in die Richtung drängen. Der Penner. Na warte. Dem zeige ich aber richtig, du. Bei der nächstmöglichen Situation werde ich mich wieder anders entscheiden. Na gut, gehen wir halt nach links. Und jetzt? Jetzt ist alles sauber.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
How to solve a dispute with a coworker. Let it ball you up inside you. Take it out passive aggressive. Using slides to assure employees that everything is okay. Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic in the header and throw some bevel on all text. This will ensure everyone is unique. You most of all. Na gut. Was hier alles so rumsteht, ey. Schön, schön, schön. Money, more money, things, but with money to buy more things. Grabs more things and money. What is hot? Profits, profits, profits. Das ist echt absoluter krasser Scheiß, ey. Sehr schön, sehr schön. Mir gefällt der Humor des Spiels auf jeden Fall schon mal. Ich will da gerne rein. Kann man irgendwie was machen eigentlich? Irgendwie nicht wirklich, wa?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Hüpfen kann ich ja wahrscheinlich nicht, wa? Nee, schade. Ich würde gerne da runtergehen. Aber das Spiel will mich ja nicht lassen. Mann, 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 Mann. Das Spiel ist wirklich ziemlich strange. What the fuck? Sehr, sehr strange. Abgefahrene Sache, ey. Moin. Ach, den Raum kennen wir doch. Aus der Demo.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Hä? Soll ich jetzt sprechen? Nightshark 115.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Night Shark 115. Kann ich irgendwie vielleicht Text oder sowas? Ich habe keine Ahnung.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please
Hallo?
speak the code into the receiver.
Mach ich doch!
Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Ich gebe mir doch Mühe, Mann! Night Shark 115! Night Shark...
Okay, fine. You're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Was zur Hölle?
Stanley? Hello?
Hä? Ich bin gerade so total durcheinander, ganz ehrlich.
Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice.
Hä?
I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening?
Was? Das ist nicht deren Ernst. Das ist doch definitiv nicht das Ende.
Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision.
Ja, irgendwie, ich habe keine Ahnung, was das hier jetzt war, ob das schon das Ende ist. Ich glaube mal nicht. Ich denke mal, das geht wirklich ein bisschen weiter, sonst hätte es kein Geld gekostet. Aber das ist schon ziemlich stranger Wix. Ich lasse die Credits mal durchlaufen jetzt und mal gucken, was uns am Ende noch erwartet. Wird ein sehr langer Part, aber ihr wisst ja, lange Parts, da kann ich ja manchmal mitmachen. Da kann ich ja nichts für, meine ich, ja. Hallo, ich würde gern irgendwie irgendwas machen. Ich kann aber irgendwie gar nichts. Ich kann ja nur rumlaufen und mir den scheiß Abspann angucken. Stanley! Das Game was made by Galactic Kaffee. Jawohl, richtig schöner galaktischer Kaffee. Bah! Ich würde gerne irgendwie Errungenschaft freigespielen. You can jump. 1000 Mal auf Leertaste drücken. Was ein geiles Achievement, ey. It's never the end, it's never the end, it's never the end. The end is loading. Was? Ich bin total durcheinander, Leute. Aber ich würde sagen, wir sehen uns dann hier beim nächsten Mal an der Stelle wieder. Es verwirrt gerade mein Gehirn ein wenig. Aber egal, ich hoffe, euch hat's auch verwirrt. Ansonsten stehe ich hier gerade alleine da. Manche von euch kennt es ja wahrscheinlich schon und denken sich, ja, guck mal, der Typ, der ist ja ganz schön doof. Aber egal, wir sehen uns jetzt beim nächsten Mal an der Stelle wieder mit Stanley Parable und mir, Lunetschki. Auf dann auf bald, auf Wiedersehen. Tschüssikowski, bla bla bla.